there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in today's video, an ASMR football video, we're going to look at the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League playoff round, look at all the results, and then we're going to look at the round of 16 matches to come and have a little prediction how we think they're going to go. Okay, so let's get started. We already did a video looking at the last match day 8, of course, not 6 anymore, but match day 8. So then we had the playoff round for the teams that finished between 9th and whatever it was. Let's find out actually. 9th, which was Atalanta, down to 24th, which was Club Bruges. And I think what we found is that it didn't necessarily mean that those in the bottom end automatically went out to those in the top end. I think both Club Bruges and Atalanta can attest for that, but I'd say most of that was true. Okay, so the first round of fixtures saw us back on February 11th with Paris Saint-Germain having a pretty easy victory over Brest. Bit of an unfortunate match from start to finish really for the home team. I say home because they're not allowed to play in their own stadium. It's too small for Champions League football, which says a lot about the history of the club and how quickly they've got to this level. Has been an amazing experience for them. But I think the last team that they wanted to pick was a team in their own league that they know they can't really beat. So it was 3-0 in the first leg from Paris Saint-Germain, who looked quite comfortable at times. There were one or two moments of danger from Brest, but in the end, on completely form, Dembele with 2 goals, one of which was beautiful. Next up, Juve beating PSV Eindhoven 2-1. McKennie and Mbangula cancelling out Perisic's equaliser. So at this point, Juve are thinking, yeah, we're at home, we've won it. We've had a lot of draws this season, that's a very good result. Take that away to the Netherlands with us. And the shock, I think, of the last couple of minutes of this match, Man City against Real Madrid. 3-2 finished to the Madrid away team. Haaland with 2 goals, Mbappe, Diaz and Bellingham with a 92nd minute winner, shocking the home stadium. And at that point you're thinking, with the current form of Man City, even though they've bought some really good players in the transfer window, going away to Real Madrid with a loss in the bag is not the best start. And then Sporting losing at home handsomely to Dortmund, who were struggling in the league, but again, last year's finalists doing very well in the Champions League. Another goal from Guirassy, then Kroos and Adeyemi, making it 3-0 in Portugal. So it was quite a good lead to take back to Germany with them the following week. This was one of the matches I watched because I think it was on early. And Club Bruges beat Atalanta, and to be honest, Atalanta looked quite shocked throughout. I don't think they were prepared for Bruges' sort of counter-attacking and strength on the ball, and where needed, skill. And yeah, the counter-attacking football was excellent. Atalanta couldn't really cope with it. Atalanta, of course, do this weird system of man marking, so a counter-attacking system is very difficult for them to manage against, and I think it's the one tactic that can break them down. Because I was fully expecting Atalanta to be one of the teams heading towards the tail end of the competition. Very difficult to beat, doing well in the league. But 2-1 losses, undeservedly so. Nielsen's 94th minute goal was a result of some excellent play by the home team. much to the shock of Atalanta. And then 2-1 to Bayern Munich away to Celtic in Scotland. Maeda with the goal for Celtic. If I remember correctly, there was a goal ruled out for offside early on in the match. 1 minute in, a beautiful goal by Kuhn. And I didn't like the decision. I don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't think the player standing offside had anything to do with, but I've definitely seen that decision given elsewhere, so I'm not complaining overly, but I think it would have changed the entire complexion of the two legs if 1 minute in Celtic are winning. So obviously then they were losing 2-0 and managed to get a late goal, but at the very least it would have been 2-2. But who knows if they wouldn't have gone on and got a second goal on the break, if they were 1-0 up. Bayern don't defend that well under Company, so they're just all like quite attacking. Who knows? And another shock, I think Feyenoord, good team and everything, but I think Milan were expected to get over this hump they're in. Got a lot of good players as well during the transfer window, and already had a very good squad, new manager, but Paixão was like, no, Feyenoord are going to do well in this leg, so 1-0 win for the Dutch team. At this point I was thinking, well done, Feyenoord, well done. But surely Milan are going to turn it around in the second leg, in San Siro. So wasn't too worried at 1-0 win at that point. And then a 10-man Monaco losing at home to Benfica, Pavlidis with the goal 1-0. A little bit of a shock. I thought they were very even. So 1-0 win's not against the reams of my imagination what could have happened, but I did expect Monaco to have a more positive result. Okay then, so the return legs, I thought 1-0 up Milan would be fine, but then 2 red cards and a goal from Carranza, meaning that Feyenoord go through 2-1 on aggregate. Theo Hernandez, one of my least favourite players, I've got to be honest. I can't stand the way he dives. 2 yellow cards, not sure if any of those were given for dives, but that guy has got a problem with gravity, he cannot stay on his feet. I don't care how good a footballer he is. Every time I see a team against either Milan or France, he's literally on the floor more than he's stood up. So I'm quietly quite happy about him being sent off, and well done to the Dutch team for getting through. Big shock for Milan, though I did not. They didn't think that they would go out to this stage, to be fair. And another shock, another Italian shock. Club Brugge absolutely walloped them, and it was quite deserved. Again, they completely thought them. Their tactics completely broke them, and they won 3-1. A lot of controversy happened in this match. Lookman came off the bench. He's had an injury recently. He is consistently one of their best players. Obviously, did amazingly well winning the Europa League. He was fantastic in the final against Bayer Leverkusen. He's been injured, came back at half-time, 1 minute into the second half scored. Then they had a penalty, and Lookman isn't the penalty taker, but the penalty taker said to Lookman, "You take it," and he missed it. Well, it was a save, actually, if I can remember correctly. And Gasperini, the manager, afterwards said that he's never seen a worse penalty, he shouldn't have taken it, he was being selfish. And Lookman went on to social media and said, "Oh, I was told by the penalty taker to take it, it wasn't my decision, I'm very upset that I've been criticised, I'm not selfish, blah blah blah." So it's caused this whole storm, and everyone's saying that Lookman is now going to leave in the summer because he's told his agent he's not happy, blah blah blah. He also scored in the next league match as well, and yeah. So, and then Celtic, such a brave performance up to the 94th minute. They were drawing, but then brilliant Davis scoring on the 94th minute to equalise on the day and to win the match. So very, very, how much better has this campaign been for the Celtic? team than compared to last year, or the last maybe 5-6 years. So really well done. I know it's disappointing to go to this stage thinking you could have got through a round of 16, but all the same, heroic performance, well done. Benfica Monaco, 3-3 on the day, and that means 4-3 win for Benfica overall. Finally, the Turkish international Kukçu, as well as Atakolu, the other Turkish player they have, scoring in the 84th minute to break Monaco hearts after they had equalised on the 81st minute. So complete end-to-end stuff, absolutely wonderful match of football. Well done to both teams, and Benfica go through. Dortmund, after that 3-0 win, weren't that inspired to push the boat out in this one. A safe 0-0 draw, meaning that they go through quite easily. Unfortunately, it seems like Brest, despite their early form in this competition, have just come a little bit too far, and Paris Saint-Germain really found another gear. Debut goal as well for Kvara, since joining from Napoli, 7-0, and yeah, quite embarrassing, and I feel really sorry for Brest. But that's the unfortunate difference that Paris Saint-Germain's owners have given them in terms of who they can buy and how it reflects on the rest of the league, I'm afraid. I think Italy's a little bit upset over the results. Bearing in mind that Milan went out, Atalanta went out, but now Juve have gone out as well. We'll talk about Lazio and Roma in a minute. But yeah, I don't think this was on the cards. I don't think this was expected. Excellent performance from the home team, PSV Eindhoven, winning 3-1, classy goal from Perisic. He was playing more as a wing-back when he played for Tottenham, but he's more forward again for Eindhoven, and despite his age, despite the fact that he went home to Croatia for a season, he's looking still just amazing. And as a former Inter player for years, I'm sure he enjoyed scoring against Juve as well. So 3-1 win there for PSV Eindhoven. There were points in the game where Juve could have come more into it, but every single time PSV scored, it made that less likely. So yeah, a superb performance. I was watching that match. Wonderful game. And then I think this game was a little bit of a walkover, actually. I don't really want to say that because the scoreline doesn't really suggest it, although 6-3 on aggregate, 6 goals in 2 games, obviously is not great. Mbappe hat-trick, Gonzalez scoring on the 92nd minute to make it look a little bit more respectful, but I remember I watched the first half of this, and then I watched a different match in the second half. I think I turned over to the PSV match, because it was a little bit boring, to be honest. Man City couldn't get out of their own half. Mbappe had scored 2. It was 5-2 at that point, so I thought, oh, it's kind of over. And Man City just looked completely shell-shocked, like out of ideas. And Madrid were in top gear, so I think despite some of their struggles in the group stage, now we're in the knockout stage. This is where the real Real Madrid, excuse the pun, real, their championship pedigree, they always seem to find a way, don't they? So they're back, I think, in the picture for a high finish. Okay, so that was the last result. So let's have a look at the matches to come. We've got Club Brugge against Aston Villa. So Aston Villa doing really well, and Club Brugge, the sort of lowest ranking, not worst by far, but the lowest ranking team left in the competition from the group stage, is their reward. I think Aston Villa can win this, but didn't they lose against them in the group stage? I'm pretty sure they played them and lost. So Club Brugge, can they go even further? I think it's really, really good for Belgian football. It's a league that's getting better and better, and the further they go in this competition, the more points they earn for better places, more spots in the Champions League in the future. So I'd love, Aston Villa, but in terms of like the story, I'd really like this team to go and do a really a sort of deep run into the latter stages of the competition. I think it'd be really good for Belgian football in general. Dortmund against Lille. I think Dortmund, for me, on their pedigree, are probably favourites, but Lille obviously have surprised a couple of teams this year already. Should be a good match, but my pick, if I had to be pushed, would be Dortmund. PSV against Arsenal. Arsenal are kind of going off the boil. It's a good time to play them. When's the match going to be? 4th of March, so not long. I think PSV have got a chance. We'll see which PSV turn up, now we're in the knockout, so they're going to be a bit more consistent. Arsenal, obviously striker issues galore, and we'll see if they can, get through it, or are we going to have, a usual March Arsenal team where they just drop out of each competition one by one and end up where they end up. We'll see what happens. Absolutely scorching tie, Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. I think it's very even. I think it could go to penalties. It'll be that close. Did Atletico Madrid play them recently, like on the weekend or something? Oh no, it was Barcelona 4-4. They played them 1-1, see. It's going to be very tight. I think of all teams to be able to knock them out, Atleti might be the one. We'll see. Okay, Feyenoord against Inter. Inter, as I told you, are my pick to reach the final. So I'm going to have to go with them on paper, but Feyenoord, I think, could give them a good match. Oh, another big tie, Bayern against Leverkusen. I watched the league match the other week, the 0-0. Again, I think Leverkusen are one of the teams that can match Bayern. I'm thinking they are like 51% more likely to get through, so my pick is Leverkusen. Bayern do have a history of not beating them since Xabi Alonso's taken over, if I'm right. Benfica, Barcelona. Barcelona are definitely one of my top 4, so sorry Benfica, I'm really glad you made it this far, but I think Barcelona are going to get very far in this competition. I think if they don't reach a semi-final, I'll be shocked. And then Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool. That is going to be very, very interesting. I don't really see anyone beating Liverpool. I think it's their cup to lose, and my pick is going to be Inter in the final, with maybe a Barcelona, and we'll see I'm not sure who Real Madrid's next opponents are going to be, but Real probably, Barcelona, Liverpool and Inter in the semis for me. We'll see. I wonder if this actually will tell us. Oh, it does. So yes, Real Madrid, if they win, they're going to get either PSV or Arsenal, so I think that they would win that as well. And then, this all worked out perfectly. So Liverpool would win against Paris Saint-Germain. They beat either Aston Villa or Club Brugge, so beating Real Madrid in the semis. Barcelona to beat Benfica, then to beat Borussia Dortmund. Inter to beat Feyenoord, then they would beat Bayer Leverkusen in the semi, go on and lose to... No, I think... Oh god, Barcelona really, it's going to be a close one. Either Inter or Barcelona for me. Let me know in the comments what you think. And we will have a little chat about that in the comments section. Okay, you ready for Conference League then? I'll do the apps at the end, I think. Let's look at the Europa League and Conference League. Okay, so we knew Lazio, Athletic Club, Manchester, Spurs, Frankfurt, Lyon, Olympiacos and Rangers were through. So then these were the matches in the knockout stage. So Real Sociedad beating Midtjylland 2-1, Fenerbahce surprising but handsome lead over Anderlecht 3-0, Ferencváros with a narrow lead over Pilsen, one of the teams I think is going to go quite far. Ajax beating neighbours Union Saint-Gilloise from Belgium 2-0. Alkmaar shocking everyone and hammering Galatasaray 4-1. Porto getting a late-ish equaliser against Roma, who then went down to 10 men, or went to 10 men and then conceded the equaliser. Terrible referee. FC Twente beating Bodø Glimt 2-1, and PAOK losing at home to Steaua Bucharest. Okay, so then Bodø Glimt turned it around completely. I did say that I thought they would do quite well with a 5-2 win at home, putting themselves through, what was it, 6-4 on aggregate? Then I thought PAOK would actually turn it around, but fair play to Steaua Bucharest. They won 2-0, and a Romanian team is in the round of 16. I can't remember the last time that happened, to be honest, so well done. Galatasaray only could manage a 2-2 draw at home, despite some of their really big stars being on the pitch, like Osimhen. So Alkmaar flying the flag for Dutch football in this particular competition now that Twente are out. They are through. Actually, are there any Dutch teams in the knockout? No, Dutch team finished there. Okay. And then let's have a look. Roma are pretty hard to beat at home in the Stadio Olimpico, particularly under Ranieri. I think there's some statistic that says that since Ranieri took over, Roma have got the best, it's either the best overall or definitely the best home record in Serie A. Bearing in mind they were close to relegation before he took over. So I wasn't worried that we would beat Porto. Porto started playing brilliantly though, so the first 10 minutes I was very scared as a Romanista, and they scored in the 27th minute. They were kind of all over us at that point, and then Dybala showed up. His 2 goals, I literally sat there and I thought, if Mbappe had done this, or Cristiano Ronaldo, or whoever, everyone would be talking about him. I was like, why don't people talk about Dybala as being one of the best players in the world? Is it because he gets injured all the time? Because literally, when the ball is at his feet, I would pay money just to watch him play. Absolutely amazing player, one of absolutely my favourite players of all time. But I love watching him play for Roma. And yeah, he put them 2-0 up inside of 4 minutes. Pisili, the youngster, heralded as maybe the next Totti, we'll see, scored a lovely goal on the 83rd minute, and then an own goal by the Dutch new player that we've just bought from Ajax, Rensch, on the 96th minute. At that point I didn't think there was any time left to shoot ourselves in the foot. But yeah, it looked pretty comfortable for long periods of the match after they scored, curiously. After they scored, they kind of lost it. Weird. And that game was so strange. So they, Union Saint-Gilloise dominated them. Like, Ajax couldn't get out of their box, let alone their half. I've never seen anything like it. They looked like a rabbit in headlights. They were terrified when they had gone in so comfortably, and then they had a red card as well, and Davy Klaassen saved it from going in with his hand on the line. So yeah, and they had a goal ruled offside. Literally they could have had 4 or 5 goals, but they didn't. They went to extra time, and Ajax scored a goal and won it. So Ajax are through, weathered the storm. Very, very disappointing for Union Saint-Gilloise, unfortunately, as well as for fellow Belgians Anderlecht, who could only get a 2-2 draw with Fenerbahce, and they are out of the competition as well. Fenerbahce go through. Real Sociedad beating Midtjylland quite comfortably 5-2 on the day, and as I said, I do trust this team Pilsen to go a little bit deeper into the competition. I'm hoping for a quarter-final. We'll see though. 3-0 winners over the Hungarians Ferencváros. So we got Alkmaar against Tottenham. So Parrott will be playing against his former team. He's doing very well out there in the Netherlands. I think Tottenham are the favourites to win that match, now, particularly now that they've got a lot of players back from injury. Steaua Bucharest, I think Lyon are favourites, but don't count them out. Fenerbahce Rangers is going to be very close. I think Rangers are the slight favourites for that, although they've just sacked their manager, so I've been saying that Mourinho's in loads of trouble after the derby against Galatasaray the other day for supposed racist comments. Real Sociedad, Man United. We know that Real Sociedad can beat Man United. We saw it in the Champions League. Was it last year or the year before? I think on paper, though, I'm going to pick Man United because they seem to be doing well in this competition, regardless of how their terrible league form is going. Ajax Frankfurt, I'm going to say Frankfurt. I'm kind of going with all the top 8. Bodø Glimt, Olympiacos. If you asked me at the start of the season, I would have said Olympiacos, but I think Bodø Glimt are playing really above expectations and they could go quite far. We'll see. Roma Athletic Club, both my teams against each other, big gutted. I wanted either Spurs, Roma or Athletic Club to win this competition, so I've got to go with Roma, but I'll still support Athletic Club if they decide to win. They did play each other a match, they won and drew 1-1, so it's going to be tight. Oh dear. Pilsen, there's me saying maybe they'll get a quarter-final against team number 1 from the group stage, Lazio. I think Lazio are the favourites to get to the final, in my opinion. I was a little bit worried because there was the chance that we were going to have the Derby della Capitale, the Lazio-Roma derby at this stage, but Lazio were drawn on the other side. It could have been, it was either going to be Lazio or Athletic Club to face Roma. So now they can't meet until the final. The thought, oh God, of a Rome derby in the final terrifies me. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But let's have a think. So Spurs against Frankfurt in the next round. I'm thinking either team's good enough to get through. Maybe Frankfurt or Spurs, maybe Frankfurt 55%. And then Lazio against Bodø Glimt, so Lazio to go through. Roma against Rangers, Roma to go through. Man United against Olympique Lyon, Man United to go through. Roma, I think Roma could beat Man United to get to the final. Lazio, Frankfurt, Lazio, Roma final. God, please no. I couldn't stand losing that match. It would be the worst thing that's ever happened. Okay, Conference League. So we know that Chelsea got through practically on one leg with their hands tied behind their back. So they are by far my favourites for this tournament. However, excitingly, we've seen a couple of teams go through that we weren't possibly expecting. We all thought Fiorentina would get through, but what about Legia Warszawa, or Rapid Vienna, or Djurgården, or Lugano? Victoria de Guimarães finishing second. I think people were expecting Panathinaikos, Real Betis, maybe even København, who played Champions League football last year. But no, that didn't happen. Let's have a look then at the fixtures. So, Molde lost at home to Shamrock Rovers. Fantastic result for the Irish. I was really rooting for them at this point. Celje drew with Apoel Nicosia 2-2. Bachka Topola losing at home to Poles Jagiellonia Białystok. Very unlucky not to be in the top 8. I think we all were a bit surprised, but Vikingur Reykjavik playing, because they can't play in Iceland because it's too cold, I think they played in Finland, but still beat Panathinaikos 2-1. Banja Luka beating Olimpia Ljubljana 1-0. Copenhagen losing at home in front of their amazing fans to German team Heidenheim. Real Betis beating Gent 3-0. I thought it would be closer, but I did think Real Betis would win. And then the all-Cypriot derby. Remember, 3 Cypriot teams in this stage at the moment. Omonia Nicosia and Paphos 1-1. In the second legs then, København turned it around with a very good victory away in Germany 3-1. Goals from Xhaka, Dix and Westcott. 0-0 between the Slovenians and the Banja Luka, is that Serbia or Bosnia? Bosnia. So a Bosnian team into the round of 16. Congratulations. Pafos are Cypriot's only team to get through. So they won 2-1 against Omonia Nicosia. Real Betis actually lost to Gent at home with a goal from Brown, but it didn't matter because they won so well in the first leg. Nicosia went out of the competition despite playing at home. Bit of a surprise. I don't think people thought this team from Slovenia would make it to the round of 16. So well done to Celje. That's why I'm loving this competition. Another big win for Jagiellonia Białystok. So 6-2 on aggregate. Like I said, probably the team that most deserved to finish in the top 8. Then Panathinaikos turned it around with a late goal, 95th minute, to put themselves through. I think they were quite relieved. And then Shamrock losing on penalties after losing 1-0. Ekrem with the 10th minute goal. Heartbreak for the Irish. I'm so sorry, I thought you were going to make it through. And that's quite a disappointment. Well done to Molde, who are following in Bodø Glimt's shoes and sort of pushing up the coefficiency rankings in Norway. Okay then, so I don't see anyone beating Chelsea. København are going to have to be like the best they've ever been, just to make it look respectable. I think Legia Warszawa will beat Molde. After their performance, they really struggled against Shamrock, so I think Legia are too good for them. Panathinaikos Fiorentina, wow. On paper, that's a big match. I think Fiorentina should win it, though. Real Betis, Vitória de Guimarães. Well, Vitória de Guimarães finished second, so it's disrespectful to say that because Real Betis have this reputation that they're automatically going to win. Be prepared for a shock. However, my gut tells me that Real Betis are going to go through. I'm happy to be proved wrong. Banja Luka, Rapid Wien. I'm going to say Rapid Wien for this one. I don't know enough about Banja Luka. Jagiellonia Białystok against Cercle Bruges, who just beat them to 8th place. I think Białystok will win that. Celje against Lugano. Should be an interesting tie. One of the smaller teams is... Sorry, I don't mean to say a Swiss team is smaller, but I don't think many people expected them to get this far. And I think definitely one of them is going to get into the round of 16, obviously. So Lugano for me are my pick, and it's quite exciting for Swiss football, to be honest. And then Pafos against Djurgården, I think it'd be interesting. The Swedes will have started their league by then, so finishing in the top 8 has been great for them because that would have been their pre-season. So I'm thinking Djurgården have got too much for Pafos, but we've been surprised before. Let's plot the final. So Chelsea to win against Copenhagen and then against Legia Warszawa. Then Djurgården, Vienna. I think Vienna will actually win in that match against Djurgården. Lose to Chelsea. Chelsea in the final. Betis to beat Białystok to make it to the semis. Then Fiorentina to beat Lugano to make it into the semis. I think Fiorentina might make the final again against Chelsea and lose, oh god, their 3rd straight Conference League final. How awful would that be? Imagine being a team that loses 3 of the same final in a row. God, I would be rooting for Fiorentina in that. I couldn't stand the thought of those players going through that 3 times in a row. That would be awful. Okay. Shall we look at the app then? So I forgot to put my quarterfinal ones in apparently, so I'm a numpty. Okay, so I get no points. So I've definitely lost this year. Round of 16, I'm going to say Dortmund to win 2-1. Then Arsenal to narrowly win 2-1. I'm not sure who's going to score the goals though. I said Real Madrid to narrowly win. I said Barcelona to win. I think actually it's not going to be that close, I'm sorry. And Bayern Munich, No, I said Leverkusen would win, but I reckon it might be like penalties eventually. No, I'm actually going to change that and do Bayern, and then Bayer Leverkusen late equaliser, and Liverpool to win. I think Liverpool will be okay, to be honest. Okay, Europa League then. I also did. I forgot to do these as well, and I got 40 points then. Idiot. Okay, so I said Rangers to win. Oh no, just 2-1. Would they win away though? Maybe 1-1. And Fenerbahce to score. Soviet, no, I think 1-1 maybe. Home team to score first. Tottenham to get a narrow win. And at home, I've got to say Roma, 1 or 2-0. I'm going to say 1-0. Bodø Glimt, Olympiacos of Bodø Glimt, I think will win. No one agrees with me. 1-0 in front of their vociferous fans. And then Lazio. People are saying really big wins, but I'm sorry, I think this team is too good for that. Okay, and then on to conference. So, Chelsea, oh god, 3-1 I think maybe. Legia, gonna, out there I think they'll only get a draw, I think they'll win their home leg. Gordon, again, I think they'll draw away and win at home. Rapid, I think I'm going to say 2. Lugano, Celje, people aren't scoring many goals against Celje, so I'm going to say 1. And then Jagiellonia, I think 2-1, yeah, that sounds good to me. Awesome. Okay, let me know if you think I'm totally crazy for my predictions, and leave me a comment, leave me a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and join me on Patreon, and I'll see you again really soon for another video. Okay, take care everyone, bye 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 bye.